I just like I thought I was born like you didn't see the 5,000, you didn't see 2,500. Is this capacity that you are applying for? And I sent it to a mentor outside, don't look at the application. By the time he sent back and wrote down what was needed to do, I said, oh, thank you for letting us. Let's hope, and I was excited to see that this happened. Although we had some little hiccups along the line, so those are because of being the of our manager, we thank God because we intervened and we started. So basically, the issue that was to be addressed by the beginning of this grant, and one of the key points of the proposal was looking at how we can mitigate the digital skill deficit that we had already observed. We all agree that during the COVID, the pandemic period, it was very evident to us that there was digital skill gap, especially for teachers in the low and middle income countries. And of course, having highlighted that skill gap, a lot of organizations, governments, and all that began to look at how they could close that gap and a bit. And then before we could do brick or spell digital, at which AI was impacting and influencing and transforming things at a faster state than even technology integration and advancement. And if we are not careful, we look at how we can intervene quickly, we will have another new generation of people. And so the project was focused on how we can mitigate and by ensuring that our teachers are also empowered with awareness and the skills required to have effectively and use AI even in their teaching and practice. And that was what founded the research topic AI in pedagogy, which included developing the education guides, that's the educator's AI literacy in the low and middle income. We had basically 5 key points we set those to achieve in this project. One was to assess the current level of AI awareness and pedagogical skills among school teachers. We were focused on teachers as it were. Then also to develop and implement a tailored AI training program based on our findings. Trains we always use further enhance their practice and also evaluate the effectiveness of the framework using a focus group approach, and finally to findings of implementing what we are doing and what we are doing. And so when we looked at AI, you just the word AI is a very wide scope, and then we narrow it to AI literacy. And under AI literacy, we identify 3 main key points of principles or concepts of AI, rather. First is the understanding AI concepts, the application of AI, and of course, ethical consideration. So, we need the AI literacy basically was about having teachers understand the concept, the technologies, the foundational understanding of what AI is, because if you don't have that foundational understanding, you will not be able to apply it effectively. And so then knowing how to use AI, because we come to my OPI on the technical part, but then how do we apply this to the education sector? And that was the second thing about the institutional understanding. But most importantly, also what are the next considerations that surround the use of AI, especially in education. And so this is focus of what we are developing. And for the assessment, we took some steps for the assessment phase, which was one of the first things that we took up. First and foremost, because we wanted to be guided, we decided to go through the already existing frameworks, especially those for the global ones, and we have UNESCO, the framework for UNESCO AI, US Education Department also has a framework, African Union and European Union. So the research team, we presented them at the end, looked at those frameworks, and then we decided that we were going to adopt UNESCO AI this framework because it addresses the competencies that we are looking for. And let's go AI framework has 5 aspects. But aspect 3 and 4 were the ones that we actually narrowed down on, which was AI foundations and AI pedagogy. So sitting with that framework and those aspects of the framework, each research team member developed questions because the UNESCO framework actually was very, very explicit with learning objectives and training objectives and all that. So using that, we were able to develop questions, a full bank of questions that we all contributed while the work was going on. Then we came to review, and then from what we finally stepped down from being guided by the framework, we sent out those questions for review. We actually reviewed locally and we also sent to the colleague who was in that field that was outside the country. And based on their review for the face and content that we developed the framework. I mean the assessment, but we did not just stop there, we also did the reliability test for both assessments, and they came out with a high position that you can see. And then we tested, we now assessed, sent out this assessment to able to get responses from at level of awareness and pedagogical skill. And after we had gotten the results of the we did that to give us insights of what we wanted to achieve with research one. Now, when we look at awareness among respondents, among participants, we will assume that because of the height of AI, everybody would have heard what AI or concept AI. But we found out that even amongst we have teachers who had not even heard of the concept of AI. They had never had a so they were even aware. They may be a small group because when you have 6.5% looks like a small group, because 6.4% from 4,000 is not really a small amount of teachers. I'm looking at that again, not generalized. So we do have teachers who haven't even heard of the concept of AI. And that was one of the things that we found. Although the majority of them have heard about AI, but if you look at also the next piece of them, even though majority have heard about AI, only about 25% have had any formal training on how to use AI in the classroom. And so the majority of them had not received any formal training on AI. And even despite the fact that majority of them had received training on AI, we had teachers who were already doing it in practice, even without training. But we can see that a good number of them were facing challenges about how they would integrate this AI into the teaching section generally. And this, of course, emphasizes the need for such training that we are trying to embark on. And asked about their actually perceived that they had skills where it was concerned. But one of the major things that found out from our assessment is how this AI could be culturally relevant to their content. And so after this assessment, we started off to training of this research goals to develop and implement a tailored AI training program. And so we set out to train several teachers in the 6 geopolitical regions of Nigeria. And we work in partners with Google, definitely our sponsors, Madison University, our partner, the Nigerian Senior Secondary Education Commission. They also partnered with us to give us access to these teachers across the 6 geopolitical areas. And let me say, we are the training management partners, so we also got on board this training. So the training started off with a plan of events on the 25th of February this year. At the Federal Ministry of Official Area in the National Senior Secondary Education. We had ministry, federal representatives to launch the project. So after this, we the purpose, of course, the training day was to empower educators that can be essential knowledge and for effective data activation, hoping that it will enhance their teaching methodology and eventually improve the learning outcomes of the students, their classes, and so we began this training. The training covered 5 modules. The topics such as AI foundations, data privacy, ethical considerations, practical application of AI in various subject areas, and of course, introducing AI foundation, so that at least the teacher has a foundational understanding of what child intelligence is concerned. And at the end of that training, the teachers gave insights into the range of technologies and applications, AI applications in education. They also learned how to select AI tools because we don't use text for text sake. There are criteria to selection. Select right AI tools that fits their teaching objectives and enhance students and experience. And after that, we did get some feedback on how the training was from the teachers. And from the feedback also, we saw that we had actually positively implement their teaching methods. They had built on their confidence to use AI in the classroom. And because of the community of practice that we actually developed around this training, it also helped a lot of them to make the training and we encourage superior learning. But most people of all, also recently, one of the participants of the training actually scaled it to a state. So this was from a participant of the training to a scale up to Kwara State and did the same for teachers in the state, having learned from what we did. And this is a testimony of the part of the project. So that for the practical 3 was to co-design the educators and teacher intelligence framework and guidance framework. So you have an AI pedagogy library, which is actually almost close to completion, but requires proofreading and all that before we start out so that teachers can have access to this material. We had quite a number of contributions in library. We also developed the AI pedagogy, which is a framework, because there are a lot of technology integration frameworks. We wanted to have one that was simple to teachers to understand and use. And from this research, we have developed a framework that has the 4 quadrants: the what, the why, the how, and the when of AI in pedagogy. So basically, how do we go about the framework? Initially, I reviewed the present AI integration frameworks that are in existence between the year 2021 and 2025. And looking at that, all that, identify some of the gaps. That was what actually led to the formulation of the emergence of the EDAIL framework to work. So what basically is understanding AI to how teachers can identify tools that are relevant for teaching and learning. And then why use that particular, so why use AI? So there has to be a purpose to be able to define the purpose of use before you actually use. And then when in the timing circle will you use it? Because if it's not needed at all at that pedagogical circle, then there's no need. But you have to be able to identify when you want to create it, having understood the purpose, and then how. So there's the pedagogical aspect of it. There should be that, demonstrating some pedagogical use and of course ethical use. So there's the right way to also use AI. So that's what the framework covers. Now, this was done as a draft with other tools to enhance the use of the framework. But the set was a code and we have a sprint, which was held in May, where we had 24 stakeholders come together, house, hosted, fed, and all that, so that we could just focus without a break on validating the framework and the tools associated with behind the framework. So we had the co-design sprint, We have students there, undergraduate, postgraduates, teachers, people from the law, and this AI expert, lecturers, and secondary school teachers. And so we had a good presentation of all the various stakeholders, even at that co-design of space. And we came out with actually the AI integration rubric. We have a lesson plan templates that follows together. So these are two things that are also validated during the code design space. So this is just a sample of what the AI integration rubric is. So that at least the rubric you can assess yourself or you can assess a coach or whoever it is on how at what level AI will be across the four dimensions of the rubric. As this and measure it yourself, or exemplary level. So the rubric was designed on that page. So for the focus group, which is the research group 4, we have a training for teachers that they within the university community here. And we have that 2-day capacity development workshop, which held on the 11th of June at the main campus here. And we created also a committee of that. The idea is that as school reviews, we follow up with these teachers as much as possible to see how this has impacted their teaching and learning. Their lesson plans, development, their classroom presentation and education, student engagement, and all that. And we further follow up with them, finish great study of more skills and then for research profile dissemination, while we are still at this is one of the dissemination projects, we also have shared this project both locally and internationally across different audience groups. And we also have a YouTube channel where most of the trainings and our movies are also posted in that channel for people to also access and use. So in summary, we've gone through the assessment phase, through the cooperation phase, digital training, we had the program launch and all. We've done, we are doing disseminations on social media platforms, YouTube channels, through conferences and seminars, of course, eventually through publications. We already started working on that once we do our analysis and publications. So our research focus has actually been first and foremost, the first where we started off with a review of the integration framework. We set out also to assess the level of AI foundation literacy and pedagogy among teachers, and of course, eventually the impact of this whole project on the pedagogy of Nigerian teachers. So basically, this framework. And to conclude this afternoon, I want to say that AI can be a catalyst for deeper learning, especially when used intentionally. It becomes more than a tool. It becomes a gateway to curiosity, to innovation, to lifelong learning. And as teachers, we remain central to this transformation. So, a tool that is built for the educational purpose, that teachers don't have an understanding of how to maneuver, then that tool will not affect, will not get the expected impact. And so teachers remain very central to this transformation. And so just saying that the future of education in itself is not AI, neither is it just about humans. The future of education as we go forward is AI with humans. And so I just want to say a big thank you to my project team. Most of them are here. Most of them are not. Most of them are here. Just a few of them are not here. And Dr. Sekina Solorshot also stepped out with my co-PI on this project. I also want to appreciate Dr. Benga Ketolani from Dicora He was also very instrumental in the project. Thank you so much. He was the technical person behind all that. I'm blessed to have people like that. This is the regional who was the community engagement person. We are part of the key research projects in the made this a success. And of course, to our partners of research, academic work, we're grateful for this opportunity. University management, thank you so much for being very supportive. SPTech staff, they were amazing at this point. EDAIL training team, some of them are here because we had to work with almost 30 master trainers. We had 24 super each group, and then we had other 6 people ready to jump in case there was any technical issue, because training 6,000 teachers across the nation was not rice and beans. And we had that training, we engaged them for 7 weeks, so we had to work with 30 people on that team. And of course, the teachers who participated in the focus group training, we want to also say big thank you appreciation also to the entire Labis University academic community. But I want to also give a special thanks to my family. Late nights, there are days, and especially my husband who just walked in. Sometimes you just say and give me a cup of tea or a cup of juice or a cup of, without saying much, doing that. Well done. And I really appreciate you for the support, and I just want to say thank you once again to everybody. So this is
Thank you very much. Can we appreciate? Mr. Vice Chancellor, sir, the last time we had the Good to AI Learning Trade program here, there was nothing like it. But today, maybe because we're having somebody from the United Kingdom, just as a reminder that you are now in Nigeria. Thank you very much. Can we appreciate Dr. Oluri once again for that? So of course, there's no way you'll be in OOU. Thank you very much, sir. There's no way you'll be in OOU without having to impact positively on your society or immediate environment or community. So on this note, we want to once again appreciate Dr. Oluriola for giving us that visibility in OOU. And we appreciate her once again. And of course, Dr. Sekina Solon, so we appreciate you. Without wasting time, let me humbly invite somebody who has the personality that behind the whole success in the recording in the last in terms of academic excellence, research breakthrough, and of course, high impact research work in Nigeria today. There's no way you discuss that without talking about supervisor university. I humbly invite the lecturing chaplain among us, the citizen scholar among us, the vice chancellor of Malawi University, the chief professor, and let's see how the second as far as our scholars who want to try governance, lecture of this particular business, again, this is our first time. Hi, glad to be here. very sure that this program will come to an end some months ago. But on my instruction and what we should have a process and the God the one that carries everything that happens. I thought today I would free, but unfortunately I still have to see everything. But sometimes I need to attend and I find it. Then I don't know like the same that we are going to have this number we are having this year. I mean 40,000 candidate people, 32,000 of them. I thought like what you had last year with 1,000, starting with 1,000, not less than, I think now class of 2,000. So I thought even with that, these are the people that are very at time. But finally have to produce some quality. Then have to push the 3,000 people. So I'm very sure that with that, we permit your name to follow it as it is because they are actually having a strategic position for this position to be successful. But because of the respect and the love that we have for all of them, we need to abandon everything in the day and bring them alive. But this is also story of the beginning. Initially, when we won the first one of $50,000 installment, was so impressed and thought, oh, that is the way that I have. Before I opened my eyes again, I saw that email that was over me saying that one of my staff has also won another $50,000 from the system. But it was a very special one. After I do not remember, they also wrote to me that they are going to deploy it. And they said the person does not have the technique. And I was so shocked that one would have done that. And the sudden signing of letters, newspapers, and all that. Saw newspaper down, symbol of the where the mention that told me of the great letter and different and so we have to start writing to go doing all those things in writing and showing how to write and then it was a very lot of work. I have to send good of all those university there to start back to say that this is also as a credit. At the point you prepare up and then no, people are not going to get it. But it was defend the integrity of the university. So when you remove these people that will go out and get it. And that was one of the people that have to do because we want to see what they have done. In your portfolio, if you have these and that definitely is very clear to what have you done. So when you have a problem, it's okay. You have removed everybody that did the jam and addition and all that. So you have transferred all of them to practice. You have to send letter to them, show them that this thing has been done before they can finally approve that we get the one. So I thank you for the space and service for doing it. You would have gone that far, would have followed. You also need to write your own so that you know that you have to be. And thank God that that thing has come to pass and the program has gone to pay 106,000. That's the best. Another one we talk about at that time, we did very well practice of gender addiction, all this process. This year, I've done program, thought for everybody to get our work for the next level. Of course, in 2 years, one of the years after the period said, we have all these issues of agenda. But they are very strong. We last year at the world of women and learning together and awareness. And so now we see all this problem. But when I begin to carry on, this is not the election. It is easier. I'm actually interested, not very something. I'm actually interested in the half of the because what? It affects all values. Because today, you don't do anything without balancing with them. And people have said that in the next 3 years, artificial intelligence will take over the work of everything. But then these people are happy that the computer is fine, that you cannot get in it. It's also not the mind. So it's going to be the motivation of the people. So what they try, the artificial intelligence not likely to take over the work of those people that are serious to do. Artificial intelligence will only over the work of people that are not ready to work. If you are ready to work, you apply the artificial intelligence in that direction. But if you are not ready to work, people will use robots to replace you. And that is exactly what happened. Because over the weekend, I was actually looking at 3 things that something you do last time. One, I want to solve the problem of the environment. I have that 50,000 plus 45. I'm supposed to have for 7. You never always have 10. And then I'll go to town, go and use for Mala, and then don't know from the road plan to the way transition want to be done. Okay? So that's what I said. When I can't look for robots to do this work, the next time I bubble it, and I saw that I should not in Nigeria have to report. So I did the calculation. I think it's still okay, but I think it's very okay. And we're having 1.5 million people. So if I'm able to buy, say, 3 of them, and it's enabled by solar, and power it, I'm going to work for 12 hours. And that will have solved my problem all the years. I don't need anybody. Because we work for 12 hours per day, in a month, you apply every year. I do not take over the job of people that are not ready to work. That is the truth. That is the truth. When I look at it, and I say, oh, this is what we are talking about. Again, I look at the problem that grass is also facing. Look at the classic that people talk about all this one. We don't have classic, people will shout their own certificates, their own data. And then you ask yourself, there's nothing you can do about artificial intelligence, you don't have any data. You must have data. And so what they imply is that if people refuse to do the work, you can fill in your data right from the one, and then you have people have to do it. And that is the truth. That's not the value. That's evidence. in the diagnosis of pathological cases. I don't know if you for revision from the resident doctors. So I look at it one day. Now, by the time you say your machine, you take over the work of someone, but you don't take over the work of those that still need their brain. You take over those ones. No matter what you train that person to do, if you take over your brain, because you see how it's not training that you do that. It's only training to the extent of time. And knowledge is developed every day. So that is supposed to develop another one. So it's going to total lesson and agree with that the push-up is going to be artificial intelligence with woman. But it's going to be not about the name. So that is the basis of technology-based economy that I'm talking about. And I'm able to solve a lot of problems using this one I know for safer side. You put everything online, make it easier. Today, as I'm currently say that the student community need anybody to do that. So they need anybody. And then when I was in school, I was to walk from Sedan, go to every day, people in Sedan will go to 15 departments, because they just want to 15 departments to do 60 students. So that time, I think we have identified in my class. So then go from one office to the other to the signing and having the paper. After that, you come to Norway, do all that again. Of course, not help you to go to library. That was doing conferences. People that many numbers like that time. Before the people allow you to enter the place, so as supposed to call it, I'm not going to that. You know? And then even the sport center now, nobody has ever come to go and do everything there. Go there on the day of class. And then before they start for you, they have to go, nothing for you. These are the most of them. At the end of the day, went from saying that 10,000 because when you are waiting, there was no money to pay. Because before they collect it from you, it was wrong. Even if I can't wait to see ourselves every day, the end is going and you draw. If you don't draw, it will wrong. So you can see what not that I can get all these AI and companies that change the website. All data that are IT, they help me a lot and they help me a lot because there's effort to solve all this problem. You can plan, you can do your budget, great money. Now, when the student comes in for pursuing the graduation, everything is important. So I can see the number of students I have. When they pay, I see what to pay. When the rent is at the rent, I make all those things together. And then I can plan for examination. What kind of call how many of them actually register? Come there before. On the day of examination, you can't say for where they are. You see taxes that you saw as students. You get to the old 2,000. Then you have some how many. But now, you can actually plan. So this, I don't like to are saying. And the plan is each day. Life of secondary school, life of primary school, will set out. They will strengthen their function, life of the day. When they get there, just available in the past. No nation will not better than the other. So it's better for us to start like to stop blaming the teacher. I've said this several times. Leader is defined for the majority of the people. If majority are corrupt, you get the corrupt, they will find that the corrupt people will fight you. But if the majority are not corrupt, you survive. Otherwise, you are surviving. You are surviving because all the things that we pay to get exposed. And I'm using all the things that you are saying here to solve for us. So I will continue to give more and more support to all of you, whatever you are going to do. But the doorway, and I keep on saying this all the time, so don't do this. I don't even know that I'm going to enter to say again. They are the ones that started with me. Can we go and buy scanner? Let's scan all documents from the data. Can scan it. Don't try that to see how we can solve the problem of that. Today we don't have less of traffic. Before, you don't even know that they tell you what. Everybody is going to shout. I can't get my fancy. Save my soul. And every time I say my soul, I need to come to this. But it's never going to be. I'll see those cases. Then you go to them. The two of them have done two people. They came with me and they say all the islands that also won. They are playing the islands that we won. That island wants us to do SCP or mobility. We're able to do that because they have been training us there. We did all these. If they don't have interest, there's no way to have them. That was therefore, we have 1,000 students signed to, and they train themselves on all this area. And with this, when you want to apply for that back, this is easier. The only way to buy something to buy the next center, the end user send it out to us that we are working on. And all this. Thank you for the university. In a good life, as you do this, the government will also help you with all of this. For those that have been partnered, those that are possible to start is also the beginning, not the you continue to excel. And I can tell you, don't just stop at this. And make the issue on we've been coming gradually, the time of 6,000, time of 3,000, now it's 50,000. And I'm very sure that the next one is the data platform. So for those of us that are only by own person, that is the issue of research. In any research, if you don't fail, you will pass. And that is why you have to buy it. For every design you have to buy it, you have the organization. So which means that you also know there's a possibility of failure. So there's no way when you do Python, some will work, some will work. So if you don't try, you won't get it. Now that they've done it, confidence is that problem. Because the one, and so that is that the spouse specifically, because you cannot reduce women only very because we do well. So for those that very much also yes, thank you very much for the support. And when there's a obviously, on the doctor is only for the doctor. So, thank you when you to them to come. I think going to come for the doctor of medical record. Mainly graduated medical doctors in Sagam. So, I will thank you there on your behalf that have also done. So, my neighbor, we did all the support. Thank you, and I want to thank all of us for being thank you. So if we want participate, I will allow President to bring out of all these positions together. The script and the president adults can bring out because of the what are your programs and you participate that we talk to the public so that we can have the program together and allow us to so that we can have the memory of today's work. That's our Thank you very much. Of course, the Vice Chancellor used to mention that once he approves anything, the water will. But today, Vice Chancellor said he wants to see, but the MC is saying that the Vice Chancellor, we want to give that I want to tell you. I that not good. And we appreciate Vice Chancellor. As I call the Dr. Kevin Ogunyola to please step forward along with the whole PI to go and do the presentation of certificate of recognition and appreciation to the Vice Chancellor of the State University. Dr. Oloriola, where are you? Dr. Oloriola, we appreciate the Vice Chancellor. Of course, to do the presentation is the custodians of academic activities in the Department of Education. I introduce to you a first-class product of this great university, Professor EDAIL. He will be presenting the award of excellence and recognition, and of course, appreciation to the Vice Chancellor of the State University on behalf of the team.